Hard work works, y'all. See, some of you have dreams and goals, but hard work, you can't get around it. I wish there was a magic wand that I could wave that your passion, your dream, that thing you want to achieve, it could just happen, but it can't. Hard work is required.
You have to understand, if you don't execute on the plan, if you don't get up in the morning when you're feeling tired, scared, if you don't execute, you're not just cheating yourself. You're cheating your family. You're cheating your employees. You're cheating your team. Whatever you're a part of, it's bigger than you, man.
Don't let what you are stop you from being what you could be.
You need to shut down all negativity. Believe in everything that you are and understand that within you there's something greater than any obstacle you'll ever face.
The people that are going to make it in the future, the people that are making it today, let me share something with you. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination.
It is possible to fully commit yourself to something. It is possible to accomplish what you see in your head. The question is, can you give your all?
Future is unknown, but if you prepare for it, if you're ready for it, whatever the situations that may come your way, whatever circumstances that you must face, give all or give nothing.
I need you to wake up every day and say, today ain't the day, but my day coming. And I will not give up, and I will not give in until I get to that day. I will not give up until my day comes.
The major key to your reaching your dream, your living up to your greatness, your making your contribution is you. Takes guts. You got to dig down deep to gut it out. Keep on going again and again and again until you make it happen, because you know that it's possible. Now, what do you do during the hard times, Les? Here's what you must do. Number one is you must have faith. Paul said you must have the faith to call forth those things that be not as though they were. Judge not according to appearances. Don't judge your circumstances and the possibilities for your future based upon what you have now and because of what's going on now. No. That's not the real reality there. What you're going through, if you're going through some hard times, it has not come to stay, it has come to pass. It's all right. Now, second thing is, repeat this after me. Something you should affirm to yourself every day. Repeat this, please. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. Say that to yourself every day. As I used to say to myself, when I would get up in the Penobscot building and I had to go into the bathroom and bathe in the bathroom sink, I had written on the mirror that I put up there, just paste up, and I read, no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. So you got to have faith. You talk to yourself, you say that affirmation. The next step is you must have patience and engage in consistent action. Patience and engage in consistent action. See, everything does not always happen, ladies and gentlemen, when we want it to happen. It doesn't happen quickly. So in that process, they have something in the Far East called the Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree, every day it has to be watered and fertilized. It's a very hard nut, and it takes 5 years of watering and fertilization every day, according to American Geographics, before it breaks through the ground. At any time, if the watering process and the nurturing and the fertilization process is stopped, the Chinese bamboo tree will die in the ground. Now, once it breaks through in that 5th year, then in 6 weeks it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet in 5 years or 6 weeks? The answer is obvious. It takes 5 years That's how long it took to grow it, to build that foundation, to nurture it, to water it, to build the reputation, to build the credibility, to learn the market, to learn people, to learn yourself, to learn how to do it, to figure it out. That's why you must have patience and engage in consistent action. We live in a world, ladies and gentlemen, where people want instant gratification. They want it right now. But they're not willing to pay the price, do what it takes. They think it was easy. No. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's a system that if you work the system, it works if you work it. But make no mistake about it, it's hard. You are the determining factor. Here's something else. It's possible you can live your dream.
No matter how bad it is, or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it.
It's necessary that you have goals, that you write them down, that you surround yourself with a support team, that you are creative. It's you that you must take personal responsibility to make it happen. The people that make it in this world look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. It's hard. No, easy is not an option. However, ladies and gentlemen, what you will discover is that it's worth it. It's worth it. I suggest to you, if you want to become diamond, write down 5 reasons of why it is worth it for you to become a diamond, to experience that level of achievement. What is it that will give you the drive? What is it that will ignite the courage in you to get up and come back again and again and again? How is it that you would be able, what reasons that can tap into that deep down feeling that goes to your gut, that no matter how many times you get knocked down, that you're coming back? What is it? Write it down. When I started and left Miami pursuing my dream, because I knew that as long as you work for someone else, they are controlling your destiny. I didn't want anybody signing my paycheck but me. I knew that it was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be hard. But every time I thought about giving up, and there were times I did, because where I am, ladies and gentlemen, it's a long shot. You think being a diamond is a long shot. This is a miracle. This is a long shot. And I had people laughing at me. Les, you're talking about being a motivational speaker? You failed twice in school. They put you back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and you failed in the 8th grade? You've never worked for a major corporation? And you are going to become independently wealthy. Right. They laugh. They're going to laugh at you. People are going to laugh at you. But let me tell you, I believe in revenge like Frank Sinatra. He said the best revenge is massive success.
It's a long shot. Being here with you today in this dome in Atlanta, it's a long shot. But I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop running toward your dream. You can live your dream as you hold on to that dream. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. It's not going to be easy. As you go toward the future, begin to know that you have greatness within you. Begin to envision yourselves to reach your goals. If you want a thing bad enough, go out and fight for it. Work day and night for it. Give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it. What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day and say to yourself, it's not over until I win.
feel like your life is gonna last a long time. And if I was to talk to my 26-year-old self, I would tell that kid that you don't have time. And you don't know when it's gonna end. And so get out there and do the things you wanna do. Get out there and get after them now. Don't wait another second. Take advantage of it. Get out there and live and strive to be better. Because the life you've got, which I just said was a gift, it is a gift. So live it.
So many kids these days miss out on the fact that the correlation between working and studying and pushing yourself to the results that you get. It's what I think hurts kids is they don't connect what they're doing now with the future. I know I didn't. You know, when I was a kid, I was, what's the future? It's tomorrow. The future is, the weekend. You don't realize, you can actually set yourself up. What you're doing today is connected to the future. Okay, once you make that connection, you say, maybe I'll study, maybe I'll train, maybe I'll work out harder. You can start doing those things because you can improve and you can have a better life. Sure, are there some kids that are gonna be able to do pull-ups out of the gate? Sure. Are there some kids that can learn their times tables really quickly? Sure. You're not gonna be great at everything, but you can get better as long as you have the discipline, put your mind to it, and are willing to work hard.
So you're always learning and growing, and I was always learning until the day I retired. Because it's not a boom, this happened and everything changed. It's a constant addition of skill set and repetition of situations where you become competent at your job. The fear of getting shot or killed is not on your mind when you're in the moment. It'll build up when you're waiting to go out. There's times you're waiting to go out and you're like thinking to yourself, okay, there's a lot of bad things going on out there, and some of them have happened to me. But I think at some point you realize that there's nothing you can do about that. Other than just quit and just resign yourself to a life of cowardice. But if you opt to not do that and you step up and say, okay, I'm ready, and if I die, I die. And once you overcome that, then nothing else to be afraid of.
When we deployed to Iraq in 2006, we'd been fighting since 2003, and we'd had very few casualties in the SEAL teams. The amount of guys that had experienced their teammates killed in action was minuscule. And so there was no preparation other than what I had taken away from reading about combat for my whole life. What I did was what I knew how to do, which was work. And that's literally what I told my guys was, we've crossed a line, and there's no possible way to replace or describe or overcome the amount of just heart-wrenching sadness that you feel when you lose a teammate. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to say.
First time,
second time, third time.
Irrelevant, what time?
What I did was, and I told my guys, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. The only thing that I know to do is to go back to work. And I do know this, if Mark was here, he would want us to go back to work. And so we're gonna lock and load our weapons, and we're gonna go do what we do. In World War II, in World War I, there would be days where thousands upon thousands were killed. And so that offered me a small bit of perspective to think to myself that human beings, we can feel like we're special, and we can feel like no one's ever been through what I've been through, and the world is hard for me and easier for everyone else. Well, the reality is that's not true, and we're not special. And the things that people go through, other people have gone through, most likely much, much worse and much more significant. So that, to me, was it gave me at least some level of perspective to realize that Other warriors had gone through this before. This was my turn, and this is how I'm gonna try and handle it.
I've got that going on, and I need to control it. So when people start getting emotional, when guys get killed, how do I get control over that? Yeah, I absolutely have to control my own emotions, because it's your guys. And believe me, when you lose one of your guys, you want to kill everyone. And you know you can't, and you know you shouldn't. So you have to detach from your emotions, you have to get control of them, and you have to make sure that you lead your men in the right direction so they don't do something that is not the right thing to do. One of my answers for people, when they say, hey, how can I get better at detaching and controlling my emotions, I tell them to start training jiu-jitsu. Because you're gonna get tapped out in jiu-jitsu. Your ego is gonna get smacked around so hard, you're gonna lose your mind. And the madder you get, the more aggressive you are, the more you're gonna get beat down, and the worse it's gonna be. So you have to learn to control your emotions, no doubt about it. And then what you have to do is you have to start practicing it all the time. You have to start paying attention to the red flags that go up when I start raising my voice at you. I go, oh, that's your emotion, get mad. And for me, like the minute I feel some sort of anger, some sort of jealousy, some sort of frustration, most of the time I go, oh, you're getting mad, that's your ego. You're getting emotional about this. Take a step back and listen to what the other person's saying. Take a step back and try and see it from their perspective. Take a step back and try and understand what they're trying to say. Because sometimes, if you're not a very articulate person, you're just making me mad. It's only because I don't understand what you're trying to say. Take a step back. Let's talk through it. So pay attention to, I always talk about when you're sending an email to someone and you're typing like this, don't send that email. That's not a good email to send. That's an emotional email. Wait, write it out, fine, and then save it and read it later, and you'll realize, oh yeah, I was really mad about something, or I was really frustrated. So how do you do it? You practice it. You pay attention to your emotions and you get control over them.
Can you teach that? Let's go. We're gonna jump back in the water, let's go.
I think that's one of the few things that you learn in basic SEAL training is to shrug your shoulders and go forward. What you learn to do is, okay, I'm gonna go forward. I can't get out of this. I'm gonna go forward. I'm not gonna quit, so I'm gonna go forward. Bring it on.
You're sitting on the edge of the bed trying to have an honest dialogue with yourself, and the little voice says, it's pretty disgusting in here. And you think, well, I'm way above such trivial niceties as organizing my room. It's like, now that's pride. That's arrogance. If you're above organizing what's actually yours, how in the world are you ever going to organize anything else? And so you get on your knees and you think, well, it's time to, take a brush to the toilet. And maybe that's where you start. And that works. That works. You start making those micro improvements, like real micro improvements, real on the ground, actual micro improvements to things that are wrong, you'll improve unbelievably rapidly.
If you don't have hope and you don't have this breakthrough where you have for just a millisecond this insight where you go, well, what if things did work out? If you don't have that moment, most people stay so stuck in resignation. There are so many people that are not aware of how much better and how much more present and how much more joy they could experience in their life.
See, when you are not filling your life with the things that you are capable of doing, see, we all have some stuff that we've been given. And I don't think that it's optional for us to sit on what we have. See, if you're sitting on what you have, what you've been given, I think everybody's been given something to bring to the planet, that only you can do that, only you can perform that, only you can initiate that activity. And if you don't do that, if you're not filling in your life with your life work or your mission, then there are gaps in your life. And what we do when we're not living out our true identity, we begin to fill the gaps. We fill the holes with garbage.
Success is getting what you want. Fulfillment is living what you're made for.
This is dreams we're talking about. We're talking about dreams.
Can you train your brain to appreciate? Because in the middle of whatever you're pissed off about or frustrated or fearful about or worried about, you're deleting all the things you can be grateful for, you can appreciate that are absolutely real.
Be your own motivator, and you build yourself up.
And that's the problem with the mind. And, I want your listeners or viewers to really think about this. You do not experience life. You experience the life you focus on. That's it.
You believe, we know from the science and we know from experience that if I exercise, it's a process and it's good for me, even though I can't measure it in the short term. And if I eat well and I keep doing that, I know it'll keep me healthy for the long term. I'll eat more leafy greens and less sugar. I know I just have to stick to this process that 100% of the time, it works. How long does it take to get into shape when you start exercising? Nobody knows. Right. Neither does any doctor. Sometimes a little less time for some people and sometimes a little more time for others. Like, we don't know. We just know 100% that it works. And so I had to get used to the idea professionally that I'm going to do things that I know work, but I won't be able to measure them. And I just have to be okay with the fact that it works, like exercise, like eating right. And so that's where, learning an infinite mindset and letting go of annual goals. So people are like, what's your annual goal? I don't have any, because I can't predict what I'm going to achieve based on arbitrary timelines.
And it's real important in the visualization. You can't see it over there. You have to see it right here.
Feel it.
You got to feel it right here. Like I am. It's all I am. I am. I am in my dream home. I am in my dream relationship. And then unpack what that looks like. But most importantly, unpack what it feels like. And when you have that emotion in this moment, all of a sudden you stir up something that I don't think will ever go back to sleep. It'll go, okay, let's go get that.
Develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. You have greatness in you, that you have the ability to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. You have greatness in you. There's a presence in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only God you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. When you recognize your greatness, no one will ever pull your strings. You are different. You were created on purpose with a purpose to manifest that purpose through you. But you will never exercise authority and dominion over your life until you exercise authority and dominion over what you are not.
It's difficult out here for a lot of people, including myself. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are going through a lot of different things. They're experiencing so many different dramatic changes in their lives. But the thing about it is that you can't be surprised about these things, but you need to be prepared. You should never walk through life assuming that every day is just going to be a great day for you. Believe me, I know. And I know there are many people out there that can say the same thing. But it's all about how we deal with it and how we overcome it. It's all about rising up, people. Being able to get up, get out, show up, and do your business. That's what it's all about, people. You gotta have the ability to know what it means to rise up. Being able to rise up from the ashes of negativity, doubt, and fear. These things are definitely designed to pull you down, to break you down, and take everything from you. But not on this day, not on this watch, and not on this hour. And for the rest of your life, continue to shine and do the best you can to be the best makeup that you can be within yourself. Rise up. Rise up from the ashes of negativity, doubt, and fear. And understand that even your emotions can play tricks on you. So take advantage of your life. Take control of it. Reason takes time. Understanding it. Being able to deal with the do's and the don'ts, the ups and the downs. There's a reason for it. And sometimes we may not like it. But when that purpose starts to knock on your door, that's it. That means you have made it. Whatever the situation may be, that purpose has been fulfilled. It is already here. It was already meant to be. It happened. It's there. So do the best you can leading to your purpose. Because one thing for sure, none of us are gonna be here for long. Sooner or later, you gotta leave this planet. But make the best of the life that you have on this day and the day after. So if tomorrow comes for you, tomorrow comes for me, let's get out there and make the best of it. Because tomorrow is another day. And if you're a part of that day, that means you got work to do. Success doesn't owe you. You owe success. Success doesn't work for you. You work for success. And that work takes time. Everything that we do in this life takes time. It's a process. But are you prepared for the test? Are you prepared to fight? Are you prepared to live? Are you prepared to push through it? Even when you feel that you can't. And we need faith. And we need power. And we need gratitude. And we need to be humble. But we must always stay hungry and keep going.
Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, and it's necessary for you to challenge yourself to go after it and get better and leverage relationships that can help you get to where you want to go, but it's you. The major key to your reaching your dream, your living up to your greatness, your making your contribution is you.
You went through all of the struggles, all of the challenges, but you made it. And here you are. The work needs to be done.
If it's going to happen, we are going to have to eliminate excuses. It is possible to fully commit yourself to something. It is possible to accomplish what you see in your head. The question is, can you give your all?
You need to shut down all negativity. Believe in everything that you are and understand that within you there's something greater than any obstacle you'll ever face.
Whatever situations that you had to endure last year, leave it there. It has nothing to do with what's coming right now.
Because if you don't feel this fire, then it's not a dream. If you don't get up when the count is at 9, you don't want it enough. If you can hear my voice, you've got work to do. You've got a destiny to fulfill. You've got a purpose to walk into. You've got a test to pass.
You're about to be given a second chance at greatness, a fresh start. We need to change that internal dialogue. It's time to step into the shoes you were meant to wear.
What people think about you and the possibilities for your dream is none of your business. That's their business. They have no imagination, ladies and gentlemen. They're living out of the past, out of their memory. The attitude is it can't be done because they haven't seen it. They're judging according to appearances. The people that are going to make it in the future, the people that are making it today, let me share something with you. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination.
This is your life, my friend. And I'm sure when it's all said and done, you don't want to look back and see that you wasted it. This is your life, my friend. So you stand up. This is your life, my friend. So you rise up. This is your life, my friend. So you keep going. This is your life, my friend. So you never give up. This is your life, my friend. You need to keep going. This is the year I give it everything I have. This is the year I stop complaining about the past. This is the year that I don't make excuses. This is the year that I embrace my non-negotiables. This is the year that if I see it in my head, I can hold it in my hand.
And I'm saying to you, whatever you got to do, do it, because if you don't, life is going to whoop you until you surrender and say, okay, all right, I cooperate, okay, I learned, okay. So if it's hard, then do it hard.
Last year, you didn't know how you were going to get through it. Last year, you didn't know how you were going to stand on your 2 feet. Last year, you were looking for something, but you just couldn't find it. But somehow, you made it to where you are today. Now what do? You can't dwell on it. You can't hold on to it anymore. You got to focus on right now.
If you can hear my voice, if you are tired of where you are, if you are tired of not hitting your targets, if you are tired of not being aimed and intentional and assertive and consistent, if you can hear my voice, I'm just wondering if you are bold enough, daring enough, if your faith is outrageous enough to take a chance on yourself. Just get through the process. It's worth it.
That as you go through the challenges of life and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. See, most people want it easy. See, easy come, easy what? Easy go. See, but when you go at what you're going to deal with and you deal with the difficulties of it, when you handle those hard things close at hand, making those hard decisions right now that you don't want to make, learning those things that you don't like to do, but you know that in order for you to get where you want to go, this is one of the hoops that you have to flip through.
Stop justifying your laziness. Stop choosing mediocrity. Be better than who you used to be. Be better than who you are right now. Everybody else puts off everything until tomorrow, but not you. You are going to choose to be better today. You are going to push through the struggles and hardships that come up this year. You are going to grind until you are exhausted, until you feel like you have nothing more, and then grind harder to achieve more this year because you deserve it.
You've been beaten, you've been battered, you've been broken, you've been betrayed, you've been lied on. It's time to hit back. Life knocked you in the mouth years ago and you haven't hit back yet. You hit back with determination. You hit back with focus. You hit back when you are disciplined. You hit back with resilience.
The future is unknown, but if you prepare for it, if you're ready for it, whatever the situations that may come your way, whatever circumstances that you must face, give all or give nothing.
But I want you to understand that mistakes turn us all into winners. This is an every single day mentality. I don't know what your story is, but if you will keep a no excuse mentality, then the sky is not your limit. The sky is your starting point. This is an every single day mentality. I never get turned off. Every single day, I want my destiny. I want my dream.
That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action. You've got to keep moving.
What advice would you give the 20-year-old version of yourself?
I think the biggest advice I could give myself is effort is everything. And you can decide, are you putting in the most amount of effort that you can? Because on days I can only give 60% and I give 60%, I give 100. The question is not how do you develop the motivation to keep going? The real question is how do you develop the discipline to do the stuff you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it.
And it's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you more time than you thought you'd have. It's gonna cost you some friends who couldn't make the entire journey with you. But if you sign up for the inconvenience, then the goal will take care of itself. Every day say yes to whatever it takes, no matter what.
The major key to your making things happen in your life is you.
My truth and my experience has been I have to jump higher, I have to show up earlier, I have to be the first person to turn off the light and the last person to turn off the light. The way that I show up is by being consistent, so consistent that people cannot doubt your capacity to succeed. You have to work harder than the average person.
Now, don't get me wrong, I still have my bad days. I'll be like, I hate this sucks, this is terrible, but I'm still doing it. You know, that's the problem. If you're gonna complain, I'm not saying to not complain. I'm saying to complain and do it. That's all I care about.
During that point, what did I do? Is I did what I preach to all of you, which is I put in the work. You want the secret? It's called work. You have to figure out what you're trying to achieve and what you want, and then you need to put in the work that maps to that ambition.
You always want to blame other people. You always want to hold other people to the fire, but you're not holding yourself to the fire. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are you only giving 50%? What's wrong with you? Don't cry to quit. You already in pain, you already hurt. Get a reward from it.
It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you don't take any objection or disappointment or defeats personally, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. Say this to yourself every day. It's not over until I win. You got that right.
Motivation plays a huge role, but I'm a big believer that motivation comes after action. Okay, so stick with me. Motivation comes after action. The question is not how do you develop the motivation to keep going? The real question is how do you develop the discipline to do the stuff you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it? Floss one tooth. Go to the gym and lift one weight one time. Then you can stop. Then you can go home. Then you can stop. More than likely, because you already got there, because you already started, you're going to finish. Getting there is the majority of the issue. The discipline to start, that's what you need. The motivation to keep going comes after the action to start. So on those days you don't feel like it, if you know you need to, you have to.
Do I think you could be a success without being consistent? Perhaps, if you have other resources and tools that I was never given, but coming from where I am, my perspective has only been consistency, and the discipline has been everything that I have ever gotten on the back of doing it again and again and again. It is what I teach, it is what I preach, it is what I believe.
That's what a lot of people do, is they try and attack a big goal with intensity instead of consistency. They try and just go. They're like, okay, Monday, I'm gonna go get fit. I'm gonna do 2 hours of cardio. I'm gonna eat only chicken, brown rice, and broccoli 6 times a day. I'm gonna do... You've never done that before, 1. And 2, you know that's not sustainable. You can't outdo the need for time and consistency. Intensity still has its place, don't get me wrong, but misplaced intensity, I feel, is the #1 reason why people fail their goals. And that's not just fitness. That's with business, that's with everything. Instead of just adding intensity, you have to be consistent over time. Not consistent for 2 days, not consistent for 2 weeks, over time. You know, if you do the work, you will more than likely get there.
So the physics of progress is you come up with a hypothesis. It should be as informed as possible. You figure out a way to turn that into something you can actually do. So you're going to run a test. Then you actually run that test. And then this is where most people fall down. You have to lower your psychological defenses to stare nakedly at the results. And oftentimes that's going to be you didn't do something well, you didn't think through this right, you made a mistake somewhere. And then if you're willing to do that and you learn from that, then you can re-inform your hypothesis, make it a little bit better, run that whole system again. And once you get in that loop, then you can really make progress. The tenacity it takes to face your inadequacies and continue to try, that's where we've succeeded.
I cannot tell you the number of businesses I've had that have failed, but I learned from it. And it gave me the wisdom to go on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And so when you focus on your personal growth, what happens is that even if a business fails, even if an idea fails, you emerge from it with new knowledge, new data points, a new version of yourself that can do better on the next idea or the next business.
People hear that jump in the net will appear, jump in, like the universe has your back, and we love it. We're like high-fiving because we've been on the other side. But like there have been plenty of times where there was no net and like the universe was just like, I see you, I'm not putting my arms out, because you needed to fall on your face. And like I've just realized that as many times as I have gotten back up, I was supposed to fall. I was supposed to face plant. And the less time I spend groveling in the gravel, the faster I find my next success. The biggest difficulty is that people fall and then they stay down. The greatest entrepreneurs are the people who understand that falling is part of the process. So if we just said, I'm going to fall now and I'm going to fall probably another 175 times before the end of my career, if I look around and say, this is normal and every entrepreneur faces this, then yeah, it sucks. And yeah, I took the jump. And yeah, I didn't end up where I wanted to, but do I have the courage and wherewithal to get up again? And if the answer is yes, you're going to be in business. And the answer is no, you're going to go back to your cubicle and live a very predictable life that is not as fulfilling as you once hoped.
Most people can only see these are the 152 ways that this could go wrong. And we started doing that to say, no matter how outrageous, there is a way to pull this off. So what would need to be true for this to work? Stop telling me all the things that aren't going to work. Tell me the thing that is going to work. And once you get to that, you're, okay, well, if we did X, Y, Z, it would work. Okay. Now, are we willing to do that, yes or no? And if we're not, is there another thing that we are willing to do? But at least now we're operating from a position of that would work, and successful people are about that. I never know if I'm right, and I go all out every fucking time. And I'm just trying to make it happen. And so I have the courage of conviction to say, I know about myself. I will keep going until I figure this out.
You have to understand, if you don't execute on the plan, if you don't get up in the morning when you're feeling tired, scared, if you don't execute, you're not just cheating yourself. You're cheating your family. You're cheating your employees. You're cheating your team. Whatever you're a part of, it's bigger than you, man.
Hard work works, y'all. See, some of you have dreams and goals, but hard work, you can't get around it. I wish there was a magic wand that I could wave that your passion, your dream, that thing you want to achieve, it could just happen, but it can't. Hard work is required.
What do you do when 1,000 other people want exactly what you want? What if you're not the only one that wants what you want? What if there are thousands of other people who want what you want? You have to outwork them. You gotta outgrind them. You gotta get up earlier. You gotta stay up later. You gotta execute, and you gotta go from 7 to 120.
I think a lot of people feel this enormous pressure to achieve this millionaire, billionaire status somewhere in your 20s, 30s, 40s. It is very difficult. It is for very few and far between. I hope everybody understands, if you put in 18 hours a day, every day of your life, and you suck shit, you lost. You know why I'm sitting here right now? Because I outworked you. Zoom in, I outworked you.
Before I ever stood on a stage, I cleaned one at an old Baptist church. When everybody left, I stayed vacuuming when nobody was there. That's how I got the microphone. I didn't get a microphone because I can talk the best. I didn't get a microphone because I can sing the best. I got a microphone because serving kept elevating me everywhere of my life.
Because we all think that if we pray on it, if we do this, if we do that, whatever, if we don't work, we just, whatever, it's gonna magically happen for us. No, I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Gotta keep putting in the work. every day. 1 is better than 0. Got to keep putting in the work, putting in the work, putting in the work. The hard work matters, and the patience is what overrides it.
You gotta work. What happens if you wake up 30 days later and you there? What happens if you wake up 60 days later and the change is coming? You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna wake up 60 days later, 90 days later, and everything's gonna change but you. And you're gonna get the same results you got before it happened because you're the exact same person. So work while you wait. You cannot stop.
We all have greatness. It just, you gotta find the courage. You gotta find the courage to put your Bose headphones on and silence the noise out of this world and to find it. And to find it because it's out there, but it's gonna take hard work, courage, self-discipline. It's gonna take all the non-cognitive skills. All the non-cognitive skills to be great. You know, smart is good, all this stuff is good, that's all cognitive. It's the non-cognitive skills that set you apart from everybody else. And that's what it's all about.
Now, I don't know what your goal is, but I want you to visualize it right now and repeat after me with power and conviction. Let us say together, it's possible. Together, please. Say it again, please. See, that's the first step. I want you to think about this goal that you want. I want you to envision it and see it in your mind's eye. And every day, say to yourself that it's possible. See, most people are not accumulating wealth. Most people are living in poverty. Most people are living far below their potential, not because they don't have the capacity, not because they have not been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, but most people are living like they're living because of the fact that they don't believe they can have any more than what they now have.
Listen to me very clearly. Every A is not an A. I don't care how much you can jump on Google and get the answer and get your report card or your grade sheet or your teachers or your school to think that you're getting the A. If you're cutting corners, if you're taking shortcuts, every A is not an A. You're not robbing anybody else but you.
So I need you to work while you wait. I need you to work on your focus, perspective. I need you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? I need you to see it differently.
You know, 5 steps to greatness. No, it ain't that, brother. You read my book, this is hard work. It's every day.
There's so many people who want to lead that can't follow. I'm saying this because everybody wants to get to the top. If you're trying to get on top, I need you to work the level you're on right now. Can you clean bathrooms? Can you sing for the kids? Maybe singing for the kids might be the thing that gets the whole world knowing your name. But because you think it's small and insignificant, you won't even do it.
Just keep working. If you were told you were gonna get that promotion, just keep working. If you were told you were gonna win that championship, just keep working. Nobody said it would be easy. Again, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So I need you to work on your faith. I need you to work on your faith. I need you to wake up every day and say, today ain't the day, but my day coming. And I will not give up, and I will not give in until I get to that day. I will not stop. I will not give up. I will not give in until my day comes.
You have enough right now to flip this world upside down. You have enough. You got enough power. You got enough anointing. You got enough grace. You got enough patience. You got enough gifting to make your money, get out of debt, get yourself together, and change everything about your world.
For the things that I'm wanting and believing, I just have to do everything possible that's within my power. And there's some things that aren't within my power, and that's where I trust God. But what isn't within my power, it's whether it's getting the proper sleep, whether it's learning your lines, whether it's researching the character, whether it's working out or eating healthy, or whatever it is that you need that's gonna make you better at what you wanna do. It's doing every single bit of that you can possibly do and going above, not just doing just enough to get by, but going above. And then after that, it's like, if it's supposed to happen, it will happen. And chances are, if you do the work, it likely will happen.
It's about whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream a reality. But that's where the hard part is is making that dream reality. That's where the hard work comes. That's where people know, how do you keep grinding every day? You have to make those insecurities, those fears. Like when I was 300 pounds, I didn't have any drive. I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. What kind of stupid is that, 300 pounds? There wasn't like a drive to go be a Navy SEAL. I was an insecure, lying kid, afraid. I had to look at my insecurities and in my fear and find drive in that. We're all looking for passion. Passion is all around you. You have a whole stack of it all around you. It's your insecurities, all that it's all in there. All the energy and fuel you need is right in yourself. It's all there. You got a lot of stuff to do to overcome. And that's where I found it. I found it right there in my own insecurities. I found drive in my own insecurities. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you can find drive in your own doubt, fear, insecurities, you become very unstoppable.
I need you to work on yourself. Are you hearing me? Look, you can't change what you can't change. Stop trying to change the situation. It's not yours to change. Stop trying to change your wife. Stop trying to change your husband. Stop trying to change your kids. Stop trying to change your boss. Stop trying to change the program. If you could change it, it would be changed. There's only one person you can change, baby, and that person is you. Work on yourself.
Why you're making the decisions that you're making. Historically, the way in which you were raised that might have set you up to make decisions you think you're making for yourself, but are actually in reaction to unconscious kind of triggers that are built into you. I think developing an awareness of that is really important in trying to understand that question. And it can come in the form of talking to a therapist or meditation. There is no one modality for that. But I think simply the commitment to try to understand that, I think, is the process of gaining that understanding to help you make more intentional decisions for yourself. And maybe it starts with an easy prompt like, what did you enjoy doing when you were 8 years old that you don't do anymore? And why don't you do it anymore?
Like, stop saying, I'm not good enough. Stop saying, my family, we don't do this. Like, stop with the excuses.
So once you set up that goal structure, let's say, and that's really, in many ways, that's what you should be doing at universities. That's exactly what you should be doing, is trying to figure out who it is that you're trying to be, right? And you aim at that. And then you use everything you learn as a means of building that person that you want to be. And I really mean want to be. I don't mean should be, even those things are going to overlap. And it's important to distinguish between those, because that's partly, and this is back down to the micro routine analysis. So if I was saying, well, you're going to try to make yourself more industrious. Okay, number one, specify your damn goals, because how are you going to hit something if you don't know what it is? That isn't going to happen. And often people won't specify their goals too, because they don't like to specify conditions for failure. So if you keep yourself all vague and foggy, which is real easy, because that's just a matter of not doing as well, then you don't know when you fail. And people might say, well, I really don't want to know when I fail because that's painful. So I'll keep myself blind about when I fail. That's fine, except you'll fail all the time then. You just won't know it until you've failed so badly that you're done. And that can easily happen by the time you're 40. So I would recommend that you don't let that happen. So that's willful blindness, right? You could have known, but you chose not to.
One of the most important questions I think I would add as well is, how do you feel? We very rarely ask ourselves that, and I think we all have this sort of internal compass which we've been given by life, which is like, how do you feel in this situation? How do you truly feel? Not like, how do you feel in the context of, is your mother happy, or is your father happy, or is society impressed by you? But like, how do you actually feel? You know, and I think that sometimes for me has sat apart from the accomplishment. So I could be achieving something great and know that people are impressed and happy, but really I'm going time internally.
Right.
And I'm tuning into that voice of like, how do I feel? And tuning out of the like, how do people feel about me?
Right.
Has really helped me in those moments where I've got to make a big decision to quit. And I don't think people ask themselves that question enough.
Well, they may ask themselves that question, but the answer is flippant, right? It's like, I'm good. Cool, I feel good. You know, I slept good last night. No, like, how do you really feel? And then continuing to peel back the layers until it gets really uncomfortable. And then, you know, you're in the sweet spot, right? That's where the juice is. We all want
to be this idealized version of ourselves, happier, fitter, thinner, richer, whatever it is, overnight. And we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year or maybe in a couple years, and completely underestimate what we could do in a decade.
That nothing is going to change next year just because you want it to change, all right?
What is it that gets you excited? Like, what is it that you feel is unnourished in your life? Do you have a creative itch? Is there something calling you, or something, again, that you used to do as a kid that you really enjoyed, and for some reason, unbeknownst to you, you don't do it anymore? Maybe it's
music.
Like, yeah, it could be music or stand-up, or you play football, right? Like being on a football team, or doing something, just having coffee with your friend, or what have you. Finding a way to build that back into your life in a way that isn't going to derail your current life, but I think just breathing on that, like giving space to the things that bring you joy in the most primal sense, like the simplest things that just you remember made you happy, that you've forgotten, and recapturing that and finding a way to respect that, protect it, nourish it, and inject it into your life. And I think the more that you kind of tend to that garden, suddenly, oh, a little opportunity over here pops up, or something is telling me I should move this way. These are very subtle energies that you have to be present for in order to notice them when they appear. But I think those are the subtle energies. Those are the waves you want to be surfing. And you can do that while you're working at the bank. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. And over time, maybe you start moving a little over this way. 5 years later, your life is unrecognizable.
Your classes are overwhelming this semester. And your professor that likes to wear the polyester is an over-the-top tester. Test after test after test. And as of right now, your grades are a mess, which is the exact reason for all of your struggle, strife, and stress. Well, if you're in ears reaching my voice, you're about to be blessed. Because I know someone who went through and overcame the exact same issue, but didn't need a tissue because this person made the choice to human up. And that's exactly what you are about to do. This is the moment the old you meets the new you.
Okay, so once you get your goal structure set up, you think, okay, if I could have this life, looks like that might be worth living, despite the fact that it's going to be, anxiety provoking and threatening, and there's going to be some suffering and loss involved and all of that. Obviously, the goal is to have a vision for your life such that all things considered, that justifies your effort. Okay, so then what do? Well, then you turn down to the micro routines. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm aiming for. How does that instantiate itself day to day, week to week, month to month? And that's where something like a schedule can be unbelievably useful. Google Calendar. It's like, make a damn schedule and stick to it. Okay, so what's the rule with the schedule? It's not a bloody prison. That's the first thing that people do wrong. They say, well, I don't like to follow a schedule. Well, it's like, well, what kind of schedule are you setting up? Well, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, and then I just go play video games, because who wants to do all these things that I have to do? It's like, wrong. Set the damn schedule up so that you have the day you want. That's the trick. It's like, okay, I've got tomorrow. If I was going to set it up so it was the best possible day I could have, practically speaking, what would it look like? Well, then you schedule that. And obviously there's a bit of responsibility that's going to go along with that, because if you have any sense, one of the things that you're going to insist upon is that at the end of the day, you're not in worse shape than you were than at the beginning of the day, right? Because that's a stupid day. If you have a bunch of those in a row, you just dig yourself a hole and then you bury yourself in it. It's like, sorry, that's just not a good strategy. It's a bad strategy. So maybe 20% of your day has to be responsibility and obligation, or maybe it's more than that, depending on how far behind you are. But even that, you can ask yourself, okay, well, I've got these responsibilities. I have to schedule the damn things in. What's the right ratio of responsibility to reward? And you can ask yourself that, just like you'd negotiate with someone who is working for you. It's like, okay, you got to work tomorrow. Okay, so I want you to work tomorrow. And you might say, okay, well, what are you going to do for me that makes it likely that I'll work for you? Well, you could ask yourself that, So maybe you do an hour of responsibility, and then you play a video game for 15 minutes. I don't know, whatever turns your crank, man. But, you know, you have to negotiate with yourself and not tyrannize yourself.
See, if you're struggling in your classes and you don't have a written down plan for the least amount of time you will spend studying and preparing for each class, you stop this video right now. Go get you a pencil and a planner and map a study course for your success out right now. You can come back to this exact point when you're finished. Because once you write it down, it becomes real. And that's just the beginning.
And I used to think like, yo, for real, why can't I catch a break? You know, why can't I be what I want to be, have what I do what I want, right? And I ain't telling y'all don't speak it into existence. I ain't saying don't write it down, you know, on an interest board, on a dream board. I ain't saying don't put it down. I ain't saying don't talk to your friends about it, verbalize it. But I'm telling you, you can't talk yourself out of something you behave yourself into. And so for me, what I had to realize was, yo, E, if you want to make a certain kind of money, if you want to live a certain kind of way, like if you want to achieve a certain amount of things, you got to change your behavior, E. Like you can talk, you can get pumped up, you can get motivated, but you got to change the stuff that you're doing. And there was some stuff that I was doing, I wasn't placing myself in a position to be successful. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Congratulations, like you created a life for yourself. Like on some level, even if you want to leave that career path or you're unfulfilled in that, you still are somebody who is deserving of acknowledgement for building something.
Like you're negotiating with someone that you care for, that you would like to be productive and have a good life. And that's how you make the schedule. It's like, and then you look at the day and you think, well, if I had that day, that'd be good. Great. You know, and you're useless and horrible, so you'll probably only hit it with about 70% accuracy, but that beats the hell out of 0. Right? And if you hit it even with 50% accuracy, another rule is, well, aim for 51% the next week, or 50.5% for God's sake, or because you're going to hit that position where things start to loop back positively and spiral you upward. And so that's one way that you can work on your conscientiousness, is plan a life you'd like to have.
There is absolutely no reason why you can't succeed. All you gotta do is water the seeds of success that are planted in your heart. Sometimes you may have to change the fertilizer to get a new spark, meaning make the necessary adjustments and give yourself a brand new start. You got this.
We're not wired to think in decades. It seems too intangible. But if all you do is make tiny little changes to build in habits into your life that bring you joy or fulfillment or happiness or purpose in incremental micro allotments that don't disrupt the rest of your life, you do that for 10 years straight, your life is going to be different, and I can promise you that.
Listen to me, I'm allergic. Are you hearing me? I'm allergic to average. And the problem with a lot of you is you're not allergic to average, all right? You gotta do me a huge favor, man. You lying to yourself. On one point, you saying you wanna be great. You wanna do great things. You wanna have greatness. You wanna be great. But on the other hand, for real, you comfortable with average. And I told you, listen to me, I don't care what side of the railroad track you were born on. I don't care if you were fluent. I don't care if you privileged. I don't care if you grew up in poverty, with the father, without a father, with a mama, without adopted. I don't care. Listen to me. The reason why I'm telling you that I'm allergic to average is not personal. ET is allergic to it because success is allergic to average. Success and average don't have nothing to do with each other.
Talk is cheap. So you can say that you're allergic to average, but are your actions backing it up? You gotta show the world that you mean business. You gotta show the world that you come to take action. See, greats like you jump over hurdles, run through barriers, but never ever stop grinding to win.
You can't say there's certain dreams and goals, there are things you want to have and things you want to be if you are still average. You got to get to the point where you get allergic to average. You don't think average, you don't perform average. Success and average have absolutely nothing to do with each other. That's what I'm telling you. Your boss can't stand average. Your coach can't stand average. Your teacher can't stand average. Your mama might put up with it. Your daddy might put up with it. But listen to me very closely. Nobody really likes average because average attracts average.
You can't help it that you suffer from ambition. You can't help it that you suffer from trying to be great. You can't help it that you suffer for trying to go to the next plateau. You can't help it. But that's not you. You have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations, you have desires. And you are taking action to make all of your dreams a reality. That every fiber of your being, every fiber of your existence wants to win. You can't help it that you suffer from a severe case of aspiration, purpose, and dream chasing. That's the exact reason why you keep racing, because you're trying to catch up to your dreams. Because they won't do it. That has absolutely nothing to do with you. Some people have a problem for every solution. Some people don't believe that they can achieve at a high level. Some people are okay doing what normal people do, doing what average people do, doing just enough to get by. They gotta go, because now it's back to the grind, because now it's back to the shine, because now it's back to getting after it, now it's back to going all in for what you said you wanted.
I need you to speak it one time. One time, that's it. I need you to say it one time. I need you to get it out in the atmosphere. I need you to say it so you can hold yourself accountable to what you said. Tell a friend so they can hold you accountable. But after you say it once, shut your mouth, go into the lab and get to work. Are you hearing me? Shut your mouth. Shut up. You didn't hear me say a million times I was going to speak for the NFL, but I'm in the NFL. You didn't hear me say a million times I was going to Australia. You heard me say it once, then I went in the lab and I got to work. Let me tell you something very carefully, because I'm tired of people calling me. I'm tired of people emailing me. I'm tired of people texting me and saying, E.T., it's not working, E.T. I'm grinding, E.T. I'm hustling. E.T. is not working. Listen to me very carefully. You reap what you sow. Don't get it twisted. You reap what you sow. Now, if you don't see what you think you should see, understand that to grow a bush and to grow a tree, it take a little bit more time, boo. So yeah, you've been studying for 3 months. And yeah, you've been grinding for 1 year. And yeah, you've been hustling for 2 years now, and you're not seeing what you, but guess what? I told you before, you've been doing it for 2 years, but what were you doing the other 30 years? What were you doing the other 21 years? So it's gonna take time. But listen to me very closely. If you would get yourself in the lab, say it, write it down, look at it, but get in the lab, number one, and start working on it.
When you have an extraordinary mindset, you are determined to make the impossible possible. You are determined to make the unbelievable believable. You are determined to do more each and every day than that average person will do in a whole week. You are determined to do more in a week than an average person does in a month. You are determined to do more in a month than an average person does in a whole year.
Some of y'all, you lying to yourself. You say you want to be great. You say you want to get to the next level. You say you want to be dominant on that field. You say you want to go to the Final Four. You say you want to be a national champion. Listen to me. You say you want a promotion. You say you want to start your own business. But listen to me very closely. You talk too much. Shut up, get in the lab, and let's go to work. Go to work and do your work. Listen to me. Don't just go to work when you feel like it. Go to work every single day. Work on it every day.
I need you to put yourself in a position to shine. I need you to put yourself in a position to climb. I need you to put yourself in a position to redesign. I need you to put yourself in a position to redefine. And I need you to put yourself in a position to realign your alliance. If the people in your circle are average, we don't do average. We won't do average. I need you to have a CEO mindset. Champion energy only. You set them standards and you make each and every person that you come in contact with rise up to your standards. Do not drop down to their level. And that wasn't an average thing. See, average people get average results. But great people get great results when they take the necessary actions. I want you to picture this. Imagine trying to climb up a steep hill with somebody on your back That's exactly what it is when you allow that average mindset to attack you. You trying to go up, but you have this negative energy trying to pull you back down. Will you please stop trying to mix phenomenal energy with average energy? It doesn't work. You are allergic to average.
Listen to me. Don't keep calling me and telling me you're going to get on the dean's list. Do me a favor. Don't tell me you're going to be on the honor roll. Shut up. Go to work and show me.
Average people don't understand that. So when you tell them your come-up goals, they're going to tell you exactly why they can't be achieved. Well, I tried that before. It didn't work for me. My cousin tried that before. It didn't work for him. What does that got to do with you? But whatever you do not let that average enter into your system. This is a great day to win.
What could you do to improve yourself? Well, let's step one step backwards. The first question might be, why should you even bother improving yourself? And I think the answer to that is something like, so you don't suffer any more stupidly than you have to. Accept responsibility for the catastrophe of your life. And that way you transcend it. And there's an unbelievably hopeful message in there. And the message is, you're actually strong enough to do that. You just don't know it. And you won't find out till you do it. You can't find out till you do it. But if you did it, you'd find out that it was true. Bargain with the future. Wow, that's just, what an idea that is. You know, it's so unlikely. It's a massive risk. It's the ultimate in risks, right? You have to be willing to lose your life in order to find it. What you're willing to forego today's pleasure for tomorrow's advantage. And that's what sacrifice is. And I would say, start where you can start. You know, if something announces itself to you as in need of repair, that you could repair, then hey, fix it. You fix 100 things like that, your life will be a lot different. If I wanted to spend 10 minutes making this room better, what would I have to do? And you have to ask yourself that, right? It's not a command, it's like a genuine question. And things will pop out in the room that you know, there's a stack of papers over there that's kind of bugging you, and you know that maybe little order there would be a good thing. There's some rubbish behind your computer monitor that you haven't attended to for like 6 months, and the room would be slightly better if it was a little less dusty and the cables weren't all tangled up the same way. And if you allow yourself just to consider the expanse in which you exist at that moment, there'll be all sorts of things that'll pop out in it that you could just fix.
So life is brutal, and what you have to set against that is possibility. So I would say if you're 16 and your life isn't so happy, it's like, look around and see if there are opportunities that people are granting you, even imperfect opportunities, because they're going to be imperfect, that you could exploit in the proper way and learn and grow.
But the fundamental lesson, the more fundamental lesson that's underneath that is, don't let what you are stop you from being what you could be. So imagine that there's you and there's the potential inside you, whatever that is, you know. And potential is an interesting idea because it represents something that isn't yet real, yet we act like it's real. And that potential is partly what you could be if you interacted with the world in a manner that would gain you the most information. If you take yourself and you put yourself in a new environment, new genes turn on in your nervous system. They encode for new proteins. And so you're full of biological potential that won't be realized unless you move yourself around in the world into different challenging circumstances, and that'll turn on different circuits. Now, I often tell people too, fix the things you repeat every day, because people tend to think of those as trivial. You get up, you brush your teeth, you have your breakfast, you have your routines that you go through every day. Well, those probably constitute 50% of your life. And people think, well, they're mundane, I don't need to pay attention to them. It's like, no, that's exactly wrong. The things you do every day, those are the most important things you do. Hands down. All you have to do is do the arithmetic. You figure it out right away. So 100 adjustments to your broader domain of being, and there's a lot less rubbish around and a lot fewer traps for you to step into. once you've got your mind and your emotions together, and once you're acting that out, then you can extend what you're willing to consider yourself and start fixing up the things that are part of your broader extent. While you're experiencing things announce themselves as in need of repair, doesn't mean that it's you right then and there that should repair them. You have to have some humility. You don't walk up to a helicopter that isn't working and just start tinkering away with it. You have to stay within your domain of competence. But most of the time, if people look at their lives, it's a very interesting thing to do. I like the idea of the room, because you can do that at the drop of a hat. You know, you go back to where you live and sit down and think, okay, I'm going to make this place better for half an hour. What should I do? And you have to ask, and things will just pop up like mad. And it's partly because your mind is a very strange thing. As soon as you give it an aim, a genuine aim, it'll reconfigure the world in keeping with that aim. That's actually how you see to begin with. And so if you set it a task, especially, you have to be genuine about it, which is why you have to bring your thoughts and emotions together, and then you have to get them in your body so you're acting consistently. You have to be genuine about the aim, but once you aim, the world will reconfigure itself around that aim, which is very strange. And it's technically true. And so I think that you can, in fact, decide to take on the load that's optimally meaningful if you want, and then you get to have your cake and eat it too. You're on the pathway to continual incremental improvement. You only have to burn off a feather at a time instead of having the whole bloody thing burst into flames. It's a constant source of renewal. And there's an idea that to be renewed, you have to drink the water of life. That's an old mythological idea. Chaos is water. Water is chaos. Water is what washes away too much order. And to stay continually refreshed by the water of life is to take on exactly the right amount of chaos to make sure that your garden is properly nourished. And I think meaning is actually the marker of that. You don't choose your interests, they choose you. And that's really worth thinking about too, man, because, you know, it's really hard to get interested in something you're not interested in, even if you know there's a good reason for it. You know, you're studying for an exam, you find the material boring, anything will be more interesting than the studying. Even though you know that that's what you need to do, you can't voluntarily grab yourself by the scruff of the neck, let's say, and shake yourself and say, sit down and concentrate. Your mind will just go everywhere. But then if you're interested in something, and even if it's something you shouldn't be interested in, because that happens all the time, then it's like you're a laser focus, man. You can pay attention forever. You can work until you're exhausted. You won't even notice it, and you remember everything. It's like, okay, if you can't control your interest, what does? Your interest was being manipulated behind the scenes by unseen forces that were associated with your characterological development across time. That was the manifestation of the self. So the self is the potential you, let's say. And the way it operates in the present is by gripping your interest and directing it somewhere. And that's part of the instinct of self-realization. It's a mind-boggling idea, man. Really, it's the potential that you are has to manifest itself somehow in the here and now. It has to. And what better way than by directing your attention? You know, it's like it seems like this might be useful for you, or maybe you get attracted to this person. Maybe you admire this person. That happens with kids a lot. They'll admire someone and then copy them. And you can see that that's obviously part of their developmental progression, right? It's a form of hero worship, but kids are very imitative and they hero worship at the drop of a hat. And so they're entranced by the next stage of development. And if they see someone who embodies that, especially if it's in the zone of proximal development, it's something they could achieve, stretching a bit. They find someone who embodies that next stage of development, and then they start to imitate them and act like them. Well, adults are no different. We're no different. We do it at a perhaps more abstract and sophisticated level.
Discipline is the single most important thing that you can use when it comes to being successful.
They want an easier answer. There has to be an easier way. There's not. I'm sorry. I searched for it my entire life.
Motivation is fleeting. No one wakes up motivated every single day. The key to success that you're looking for, the thing that's going to make your dreams come true, is simple discipline. Every person needs to be their own hero. You need to be the hero of your own story. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to help you.
And so I would copy the comic books and the heroes, and they had muscles, and I was like, one day I'm gonna be like that.
You have to suffer a little bit. You have to put yourself in a state of discomfort. Growth shouldn't be easy. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking to make things a breeze.
We're built to walk uphill. And when you reach the pinnacle of the hill, you want to stop and appreciate the vision, but the next thing you want is a higher hill in the distance.
You've got to learn to suffer. You've got to put yourself in a bit of an uncomfortable position. And if you can do that, then the results that have eluded you, you'll start to see them. There's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no magic pill. And there are no 3 easy payments of $9.99. If you want something, if you want to be good at something, you want to accomplish something, you've got to put in the time.
Because without that work ethic, you know, greatness cannot be achieved. So you've got to really love what you're doing. You have to just go at it wholeheartedly. You've got to put everything into it. You've got to obsess over it.
If you want to be good at something, you've got to do it every day. Like we look at people like LeBron James. Why is he good at basketball? Because he does it every day. You look at Wayne Gretzky in hockey, because he did it every day. And so my number one piece of advice to people, if you want to be good at something, whatever that thing that you desire is, whatever your passion is, do it every single day. That's the real secret to success.
From 22 to 34, I worked every day. I went out, no weekends, I worked every day, every day. And if you want it, you want it. I wanted it.
So this idea of doing something every single day, just do the thing every day and be 100% present. Focus on the process. Don't focus on the end result. Again, if you show up, if you're all in and do that day after day after day, rewards will come. Don't let your emotions control your actions, or don't let your feelings control your actions. Rather, let your actions control your feelings. And so, it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad. But don't act bad. Don't act depressed. Don't act sad. Do something about it.
Failure, hell, disappointment, discomfort is a great learning tool. And many people don't understand that, but it's these few moments in life that you have. Like for me, I always talk about it. Rocky 1, round 14. That 1 2-minute and 13-second clip of Rocky getting up when Apollo knocked him down. Mm-hmm. That one clip, when I was going through a very bad time in my life, I saw what I wanted to be. And it wasn't a guy that won. It wasn't a guy that won everything he did. It was a guy that kept getting up after being knocked down.
On those days where you don't want to get out of bed, get out of bed. Go for a walk. Nourish yourself. Do some exercise. Spend some time in the sun. And it's amazing how those negative feelings turn around. So again, don't let your feelings dictate your actions. Let your actions dictate your feelings. When we're young, we think things are just going to fall into our lap. We think opportunities are going to be there forever. We think that it's going to be our turn. But the reality is, you need to work hard for it, and you need to work hard for a really, really long time.
When I realized that I can learn through hard work, and I can beat the valedictorian in school, but I got put in 10 hours more a day than he does. You know what kind of strength comes from that? When you're sitting down, that guy that valedictorian studied for an hour, and you know, I caught you, and I am dumb, but I have the work ethic to catch you. Having a discipline every day to say, for me to learn this one math problem, it's gonna take me 10 hours.
Wow. So don't lose faith. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get depressed. Don't get sad. If you show up If you be the hardest worker in the room and you do it for long enough, and I'm not talking even months or years, I'm talking decades, I promise you that your time will come. The second rule, be all in. When you're here, when you're in a physical space, when you're working out, I don't want your eyes on the TV. I don't want you text messaging. I don't want you playing on social media. I want you to be 100% present. I want you to be all in and get the most out of your time.
Where I got my work ethic from was the hours I had to spend learning this.
I always tell people there's 168 hours in a week. If you get 8 hours sleep a night, well, there's 50 plus hours gone. You still have 110, 112 hours left. If you work 60 hours a week, you still have 55 hours left to go do what's important to you. So I don't really buy the time excuse, but that's the number one excuse that I hear. The number two excuse is I don't know how. But we're fortunate, like people rip on social media, but we're fortunate to live in a day and age where with the click of a button, you have access to a wealth of information. Whatever it is you're interested in, it doesn't matter. You can find some good quality information with the click of a button. So the whole I don't know how, that's not an excuse either. And those are the two most common ones. What it really comes down to is people just don't want it bad enough. Because I've seen countless examples of people that will say they don't have time, that say they don't know how, but when something becomes important enough for them, they figure it out.
Because at the end of it all, if you can sit back and wait, if you can wait 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, when you get to that point when you finish, that's the feeling for 12 years. Let's say they wait 12 years to get there. That's what keeps you going, is you gotta feel, I'm doing it for 1 second.
Years of pain.
For 1 second.
Every minute matters. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. 10 minutes is better than 5 minutes. 15 minutes is better than 10 minutes, and so on. And so every bit of work that you can do will get you closer to your goal. Don't give up. If you want something, if you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to put in an honest effort, if you're willing to show up every day and you're willing to be all in, I promise you again, it might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. It might not even be next year. But I promise you 100% your time will come and good things will happen. And far too many of us give up before we see the reward. We give up too early. And if we just had a little bit of perseverance, if we just worked a little bit harder and just took it a day at a time, our dreams would come true. So that would be my advice. Don't give up.
Dreaming is good. Having goals is good. But sooner or later, there comes a time when you must act.
Your mouth is not a tool for distributing excuses.
One of the worst phrases we've ever created was, "You gotta see it to believe it." It's a phrase created by cynical people with small minds that have not got any hope that things can get better. Can you imagine what the world would be like if everyone believed that this was true? We'd have no cars, no planes, no light in the dark. We'd never have computers or mobile phones. We'd never climb mountains, break records, or go to the moon. I used to believe this rubbish. Nothing can be achieved, conceived until first it's believed.
You've got to understand that at some point life is going to throw you a curveball. There's no getting around that.
If there's something that you want to do with your life, that thing deep inside you that whispers day and night, it will always just be an idea until you choose to believe it's possible. You have to believe it so much that you already think it's happened. You have to walk like it's there, talk like it's there, believe it's there.
Dreams without action, that's the path to delusion.
The only way you can mature, the only way you can turn the corner in your life is to own your smack. In other words, everything in your life is your fault. If you don't, You will underperform all your life because of these excuses.
The reason most people don't take action is simple. And the only way to overcome this...
When someone says no, I say next. Yes, I might get upset. Yes, I might be frustrated. Yes, I might be disappointed. But I'm not gonna sit there in my emotions. I'm not gonna sit there and have a pity party. I'm going to go harder. What did I say? I'm not gonna sit there and have a pity party. I am going to go harder.
I am in control of my destiny, just like I was in control of my past. Whatever happens in my life is up to me. If I succeed, I take credit. If I fail, I take credit. My life is my fault. Every morning, my friend, can you recite that to yourself? I am in control of my destiny, just like I was in control of my past. Whatever happens in my life is up to me. If I succeed, I take credit. If I fail, I take credit. My life is my fault. Stop making excuses. Get after it where you are right now and repeat after me. I am in control of my destiny.
People sit around and they focus on all the bad shit that might happen to them if they try to act, that they completely forget about what will happen if they don't. So think about it right now. Let's think of some things that might happen if you try to do the thing that you've been wanting to do for years. Okay, well, it might not work the first time. It might not be as easy as you thought.
People are going to think you're mad. They're going to look at you and think you're insane. They're going to tell you shit like, it ain't possible, it's risky, you shouldn't do it, be careful, stick to what you know, stick to what you do. That. Follow your dreams. These people have to see shit to believe it, but you need to believe it to see it. Amazing things happen when you believe you have something. Your brain actively goes out to make it happen. It starts to notice little subtle opportunities that you would have otherwise deleted because it knows it's got a job to do to get you what you want.
But if you keep taking action, in spite of all this stuff that might happen, guess what? Sooner or later, you're gonna start winning. Remember, there ain't no such thing as failure, baby, only feedback. So to make yourself take action, you gotta make a decision. And that decision has to be final. People take action and get shit done when they have had enough. They decide. And they say, that's it, I'm done, no more. You're either moving forward or standing still. The choice is yours. Decide.
In this social media world that we live in today, it's so easy to lose your way. I look around at so many people today and can see that they just don't know who they are. It's easy to see the life that we live in today through some Snapchat filter. To look around at everybody else and say, that's what life looks like. That life looks perfect. I want to be just like that. So they go around and start acting like other people, doing what other people do, taking a selfie in front of an expensive car, put 1 million filters on the picture and upload that to Instagram to tell the world, this is who I am. The problem is, behind closed doors, they know that that's not who they are. So they end up lost, wandering around in a lie that they created. And the only thing to keep the lie going is more lies, more pictures, more filters, until one day they look around and realize that they have lost themselves along the way. They have no idea who they are or could be because they've been trying for so long to be someone else. I think the greatest, most influential people in history deep down are the way they are because above everything else, they were themselves. No one else. They wasn't like someone else or even compared to anyone else. You have to follow your heart. You have to be you. You have to make your choices based on your principles and beliefs, and don't let outside forces or influences dictate your decisions. I believe it's our decisions that make us who we are, and more importantly, who we could be. So if you go through life always making your decisions based on someone else and what they might think, you'll never truly find yourself. It all comes down to how much you care about what other people think. It's a scary thing in the world we live in today to be yourself. With so much fake perfection out there on social media. But I'll tell you this, it's also the best feeling in the world when you go through life knowing you ain't what other people's made you, but yourself. It's liberating. There's freedom in it. So stop hiding and be yourself. The main reason people's outlook on the world is so negative is because of what they've been focusing on. Where focus goes, energy flows, baby. And I'll tell you this, if you spend all your time focusing on all the problems in the world and all the problems in your life, you ain't going to be happy. It's easy in the world that we live in today to be consumed by all the media-filled negativity in the world. You can't turn on the TV without seeing some negative story, all the bad. Everyone has problems. Everyone has shit going on in their life. The difference between the people who are happy and the people that ain't is that the people that are happy choose to focus on the solutions to the problems they face rather than the problems themselves. You always have a choice. You can decide to focus on the shit or decide to look for the solution. It's all about perspective. Constantly tell yourself how much worse things could be, and you can actually be thankful for the way you've got things at the moment. Your world and your life can truly be anything you make it, but you gotta make it. This ain't some motivational, inspirational bullshit. This is the truth. You can be who you want to be. You can do what you want to do, see what you want to see. It's all in your power and no one else's. But you got to believe it. You can either be a victim of your life or the master of it, but the choice is always yours. What's your excuse today? You don't have enough time? You don't have enough energy? You don't have enough money? Are you too tired? You didn't get enough sleep? Is that what's really stopping you? Or is what's stopping you, you? All these excuses only sound good to one person, and that's you. Stop lying to yourself. Stop making excuses for why you can't do it. No one gives a fuck. Get off your ass and get to work. You want to take a look at other people and what they got and get jealous and say that they've only got this because of this and that, or it's easy for them because they've got this and that. Wake your ass up. It's go time, baby. It's time to stop making your excuses. It's time to start taking advantage of the world we live in today and all the opportunities that are staring you in the fucking face. You do have the time. You do have the money. You do have the energy. You just need to decide. Decide that you want it bad enough and admit the truth, which is nothing in this world is free. Nothing is easy. Anything worth having is hard to get. Admit that you can have anything you want, but it's going to be hard work. Admit that you are the only reason that you are where you are, and you are the only reason that you ain't where you want to be. Admit it. Take responsibility and accept it. Because until you do, until you stop making your bullshit excuses, you will never get what you want. Now is the time. Now is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right here, right now. Stop making excuses and start making some changes.